Namaskar friends and welcome to Organiser's YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to understand what all was presented in the Sarkaryavah Prativedan, the annual report placed before the Akhil Bharatiya Pratinidhi Sabha of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, which was held at Samalkha, Haryana in March 2026. Friends, this report is important because it tells us what work was done by the Sangh during the past year, what kind of expansion happened across the country, what special programs were organized during the centenary year, what issues were discussed at the national level, and what direction the organization is taking in the coming period. The report also places before society a broad picture of Sangh work in villages, cities, educational spaces, service, activities, outreach efforts of Sangh, youth engagement done by the RSS and social harmony initiatives. So this is just not a routine annual document. In many ways, it is a map of how the RSS sees its work, its expansion, its priorities, the national situation today. So the report begins with a note of remembrance for the workers and the well-wishers who passed away, and then moves into a detailed account of organizational growth, tours, social programs and the centenary initiatives in the current national scenario. In today's video, I will explain all of this in easy language section by section so that even someone who has never read the report and doesn't know about RSS can also understand what was really presented. So let us begin. The part 1 is about what was in the report and why does it matter. The Sarkaryavah report is essentially the annual organizational review presented before the top representative body of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. It is meant to inform delegates who are attending the AVPS about what happened during the year, what programs were organized, where the growth happened, what challenges still remain and how the Sangh sees its responsibilities in the larger national life. In this year's report, one big background theme is very clear. The year 25-26 marks the centenary phase of the RSS and therefore a large number of programs were organized keeping the 100-year milestone in mind. According to the report, the centenary programs received support from many sections of the society. House-to-house contact campaigns, public programs, social meetings, youth programs and village-level outreach were organized in many places. The report shows how Sangh work is not limited to internal organization activity. It connects social awakening, service work, social harmony and national reconstruction with daily grassroots discipline and local presence. The report also mentions that the government of Bharat issues a commemorative coin and postal stamp for the 100 years of the Sangh. This is a symbolic but notable part of the centenary year's public recognition. You can see on the screen the second page of the report, which shows the commemorative items visually along with the event where Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Sarkaryavah Shri Dattatreya Hosawari ji and others were also present. The second part is about the organizational growth. So, what does the number say? We have come to the most important parts of the report, the comparative organizational figures. The chart on your screen presented in the report compares numbers from March 2025 and 2026. According to it, the number of sthans increased from 51,740 to 55,683. The number of shakhas have also increased from 83,129 to 89,949. The millets increased from 32,147 to 32,606. Mandalis also increased from 12,091 to 13,211. These are significant numbers because they show that the organization has registered measurable expansion in last 1 year. If we keep it on simple terms, this means that Sangh is not only continuing its older work but is also spreading to new places. An increase of several thousand sthans and shakhas in 1 year indicates deeper local penetration and wider participation. Even the rise in mandalis matters because these forms are often important in areas where daily shakhas are not yet established or where social rhythm requires more flexible formats. The report also gives student-related figures. As you can see on your screen, it shows the number of Vidyarthis divided into different age categories and format. What this signals is that youth and students remain a major focus area and Sangh clearly sees younger generation as central to long-term social organization and cultural continuity. The third part is about the tours of Param Pujya Sarsanghchalak ji. This part of the report gives us a sense of how the organization is connecting with different sections of the society across regions. Because the year is the centenary year, the tours were planned with centenary programs in mind. There were programs in many prant where the Sarsanghchalak ji participated in intellectual sessions, youth interactions, training programs and large public or social meetings. Dr. Mohan Bhagwat ji interacted not only with Swayamsevaks, but he also met people from educational, spiritual, administrative, entrepreneur, scientific and cultural fields. The report mentions visits to places such as Prayagraj, Bengaluru, Chennai, Mumbai, Nagpur, Jaipur, Jodhpur, Patna, Guwahati, Bhubaneswar, Hyderabad and several other centers. In many of these visits, there were interactions with people from civil society, heads of institutions, scholars, professionals and community leaders. This report also shows the participation in cultural and spiritual programs including temple-related events, book releases, sammelans and commemorative functions. So, Param Pujaniya Sarsanghchalak ji's tours reflects a pattern which is often seen in RSS functioning, which is organizational presence linked to civilizational memory, social networks and cultural symbolism. Dr. Mohan Bhagwat ji spent the year not sitting in one place but traveling extensively, meeting different communities and using the centenary year to widen dialogue and strengthen social bonds. The fourth part is about the tour of the Sarkaryavah ji. This section is especially important because it shows where the working leadership of the Sangh placed emphasis during the last year. Tours by Sarkaryavah ji were completed in 31 prants and all kshetra were covered. While remaining prant were to be covered before the next ABPS, these tours were planned according to the centenary year programs. A very notable point is that Dattatreya ji's interaction were designed to be broad-based, including social leaders, spiritual leaders, industrialists and various members of society. This section also highlights several themes which are house-to-house contact, Samajik Sadbhav, gram-level outreach, youth dialogue, issue-based meetings and conference-style events on social participation and cultural unity. There are mentions of interaction in Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Assam, Bihar, Kerala and other regions including specific academic institutions and social forums. So now we have come to the heart of the report, the Shatabdi Varsha programs. This particular section lays out the logic of the centenary year. It says that to mark 100 years of the RSS, various programs were planned with three broader aims. First was to expand the contact, to deepen organization and to awaken wider society. Several major program formats including Vijayadashmi Utsav was done. This was designed to mark the beginning of the centenary cycle with large-scale participation and visibility. The report shows the Vijayadashmi Utsav was held in many places and witnessed broad attendance. There is also mention of a Vijayadashmi Sanchalan and the presence of dignitaries in some major function. The report gives large figures, over 62,555 total Utsav and substantial attendance figures in both Tarun and Bal categories. It also mentions special route marches and public visibility across many cities and towns. Door-to-door contact called Gram Sampark Abhiyan. This is one of the most important outreach elements. The report explains that through this program, workers went house to house and contacted families directly. The idea was to connect with society at the grassroots, tells us about the Sangh's work and invite participation in the centenary programs. This section includes notable figures from the many prants. For example, on the page dealing with the Gram Sampark Abhiyan, as you can see on your screen, the report notes large number of villages contacted, houses visited, pamphlets distributed and books sold. In Madhya Bharat, more than 27 lakh families were reached. Another example from Prant, there were thousands of villages and bastis contacted and lakhs of households were reached. This is important because it shows that RSS placed strong emphasis on personal contact. In Indian social life, house-to-house contact creates familiarity, trust and local grounding. This report sees this as central to social expansion. The report also gives major attention to Hindu sammelans. These were organized at mandal and basti levels. The stated objective was to bring society together, promote unity, create awareness and shared civilizational identity and encourage organized social participation. The figures were very striking. From 37 out of the 46 prants, the report showed 23,145 mandal sammelans, 13,905 Basti Sammelans. Total attendance of 3,49,35,211, including large participation by both men and women. The report also provides examples from different regions such as Karnataka, Uttar, Madhya Bharat, Jammu and Kashmir, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Purv, Uttar Assam, Arunachal Pradesh and Dakshin Assam. These examples show that the same broad program model was adapted to local context. The section of Samajik Sadbhav Bhaitak is very important and significant because it speaks directly to social harmony. The report says meetings were held with saints, social leaders and representatives of different communities and sects. The purpose was to reduce distance, increase cooperation and strengthen collective social responsibility. These meetings involved religious leaders, social representatives and influential local citizens. The Pramukh Jangoshti meetings with prominent citizens also took part. The report describes special interaction in major metro and regional cities where intellectuals, professionals, industrialists, doctors, lawyers, scientists, artists, media people, education and other notable citizens were invited. Examples are given from Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Bangalore, Salem, Devgari, Jammu and Kashmir, Uttar Bihar, Madhya Bang, Dakshin Assam and other regions. These programs help the Sangh directly engage opinion makers and local leadership beyond just regular internal work. The report clearly places major strength on the youth. It mentions Yuva Samvad, Yuva Vichar Shivir, Yuthan Prerna and several region-specific youth initiatives. These included students, young professionals, medical students, researchers, competitive exam aspirants, entrepreneurs and social volunteers. This also tells us that the centenary year was not only about looking back at 100 years of history, but also about preparing for the next generation. The section called Karya Vibhag Vrit gives an insight into the Sangh's work is segmented and reviewed. It includes discussion of various wings and focused efforts. Sharirik Vibhag. The repeat on Sharirik Vibhag mentions the Akhil Bharatiya Sharirik team meeting and participation from most Karyakartas. Sharirik activity is central in Sangh life because it represents discipline, physical fitness, coordination and the collective practice. The section of Seva Vibhag shows the scale of service work. The report says that in more than 15,000 bastis and thousands of cities, Seva activities are taking place with the cooperation of large number of Sevakaryakartas. It lists activities in education, health and social work. It also notes that 15,680 shakas are conducting Seva initiatives daily. This is a major point because for RSS, Seva is not a separate thing from organization. Service is treated as a practical mode of social connection and national reconstruction daily. The Sampark Vibhag section is about outreach to intellectuals, social leaders, religious figures and distinguished citizens. The report shows that the meetings were organized in many places and that many prominent persons from different backgrounds were contacted. It also mentions the outreach to members of including the SC/ST communities, and even they contacted people from other faith communities and critical sections of opinion. This also shows that Sangh is trying to widen its network of conversation and reduce social distance. The section on Prachar Vibhag focused on communication and media. The report shows that during the centenary year, communication plans were intensified across print, electronic and social media. Special features, interviews, articles and promotional contents were prepared and designed. 100 years of RSS lecture series in various cities and intensive media work around key dates like Vijayadashmi were covered. A very interesting figure appears here, which you can see on the screen, that the program broadcast on a major channel on social media reportedly gathered around 3.5 crore views on one day, and associated clips continue to remain active for many years. This section also mentions workshop for content creation and the effective use of artificial intelligence in communication work. This is a very relevant point for present time because it shows that Sangh is not seeing communication only in traditional terms, but it is also adapting to the digital age now. The report then moves to organizational programs, which shows internal strengthening and expansion. Examples from various prants reveal a few common trends, which is the strengthening of Shakha discipline, increase in attendance, expanding into new bastis and gram areas, training Ghosh teams, running camps and workshops, creating new teams of instructor and Karyakartas, encouraging full uniform participation, improving regularity and quality of local Shakhas. In Kerala Dakshin, there were celebrations linked with the 100 years and notable participation by Swayamsevaks and Ghoshwadaks. In Madhya Bharat, the report talks about multi-story residential colony work and outreach among urban households. In Jodhpur, efforts are described to increase ghosh and maintain structured training. In Haryana, emphasis was laid on student shaka, sanchalan, register review and prayer-based discipline. In Odisha, Paschim, Awadh, Arunachal, Jammu region and others, the report describes localized plans for strengthening the shaka work. Friends, one of the most interesting sections in the report is society-oriented programs. This part shows that many local units took up practical social issues in their surroundings, including environmental campaign, free plastic drives, cloth bag distribution, anti-addiction campaigns, health camps and blood donation, support to poor families, cattle care and gaushala assistance, education support for deprived children, tree plantation, village cleanliness, water conservation, social awareness campaigns, support for victims of local distress, organic farming awareness. In Tamil Nadu, there was a campaign against single-use ban plastic in temple and public spaces. In Andhra Pradesh, Swayamsevaks conducted awareness activity around hygiene and plastic reduction. In Konkan, a program was organized with business and civic institutions to reduce plastic use and increase awareness. In Saurashtra, a blood donation camp and hospital service actively are mentioned. In Malwa, there were social help efforts including medical assistance and awareness work. In Madhya Bharat, there are examples of social initiatives in villages, water-related activity and anti-liquor awareness. In Jammu and Kashmir, anti-addiction work is mentioned. In Jaipur, the report notes community improvement in a locality through organized social effort. In Jodhpur, there is mention of environmental restoration around a local talab. The section on special programs of the Prants is full of examples showing how different regions organize programs according to their local history, local culture and local concern. All this you can see on your screen. This section is also important because it shows the centenary year was not implemented in a uniform, mechanical way. Instead, Prants created their own special activities. Some examples are Kerala Dakshin organized Youth Day and memory-linked programs. Karnataka Dakshin held programs encouraging youth participation, debate, songs and social initiative. Telangana organized large-scale competitions and programs around the 350th martyrdom anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur and other themes. Devgiri carried out broad rural contact through Gram Sampark and special social engagement. Madhya Bharat held major cultural and organizational programs involving many participants. Jaipur organized research-based student activities linked with Rajasthan University and other academic settings. Delhi, Purvi Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Meerut and other regions organized conferences, training sessions, public commemoration and issue-based engagement. The report also mentioned special events around the 150th anniversary of Vande Mataram composition, the 350th martyrdom anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur, the birth anniversary of Dr. Hedgewar Ji and program relating to temple, dharmic and cultural history. The report then also mentions about the national level meetings such as the Prant Pracharak Baithak, Samanvay Baithak and Akhil Bharatiya Karyakari Mandal Baithak. These meetings discuss the centenary year plan, upcoming programs for the RSS, the organizational structure, the work expansion, training, social coordination, national issues, and the direction of Sangh working in the largest context of the society. The Karyakari Mandal meeting also passed resolution or marked important commemorative themes such as Dr. Hedgewar's birth anniversary, 350th year of Guru Tegh Bahadur's supreme sacrifice. Now we will come to the most politically and socially significant section of the report, present national scenario. This is where the report shifts from organizational narration to broader civilizational and social commentary. The report begins by specifically mentioning the Vishwa Sangha Shivir held in the centenary year, bringing together Swayamsevaks from many countries. Families and representatives from abroad participated and discussions were held on family values, social service, cultural and global Hindu thought. After that, the report also mentions development across Bharat. It also mentions report, which says that after a long period of violence and unrest, there have been steps towards peace and stability in Manipur and people are hoping for a normal life to return. It refers to the difficulties faced by communities and the need for restoration of order and harmony. The report also expresses concerns about violence, instability and attacks of Hindu community in Bangladesh. It refers to the desecration of temples, attacks on women and insecurity among minorities. It says such developments create anxiety in Bharat as well and calls for social awareness and concern. The report also warns that divisive politics, social fragmentation and tension including narratives can disturb national unity. It also says if society becomes disorganized and emotionally divided, it becomes vulnerable. Therefore, strengthening social consciousness and unity is described as essential. The report also speaks positively about progress in Jammu Kashmir and suggests that stability and development are being pursued again. It also mentions Nepal and Sri Lanka in the neighborhood context and broadly speaks of the importance of peace and progress in these regions. A broader call, perhaps the most important message in this section, is that the report sees the Sangh's role not only as a routine organizational expansion, but as social awakening in a time of disorder, confusion, and fragmentation. It shows how society expects the Sangh to play an active role in strengthening unity, confidence, and national purpose. If we step back and ask what the entire report is trying to say, the answer would be this. The Sangh is presenting itself as an organization that is simultaneously doing four things. The first is expanding structurally through more shakas, more sthans, more contacts, and more trained workers. Two, it is deepening social engagement through house-to-house outreach, social harmony meetings, prominent citizen interaction, and youth programs. Three, it is also linking organizational work with service, culture, national harmony, and practical social initiative. And fourth, it is positioning itself as an organizing force in a time of social tension, civilizational contest, and national transition. The centenary year is presented not just as a celebration of the past, but as a transition point for the future. So friends, when we look at this Sarkaryavah Prativedan in totality, we can see that it is not a small internal note, it is a broad statement of work, direction, and intent. The report shows that the RSS today is expanding in numbers, it is also increasing in shakas, local units, and broadening public outreach. But alongside numbers, it is also focusing on social harmony, village contact, service, youth programs, and dialogue with intellectuals and influential sections of society. The centenary year gave the Sangh an opportunity to look back at 100 years, but the report makes it clear that the real focus is on the future. The message is very clear. Reach more homes, connect more people, organize society more deeply, and respond to national and social challenges with discipline and clarity. Whether one agrees with every idea in the report or not, one thing is beyond doubt, that this document gives a serious picture of the scale, spread, and intention of the RSS at this moment and history. And this is why this report matters. If you found this explainer useful, do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.